well. Unicorns, they hold wins over Giants already, and H2K, as well as Splice. But Giants are a whole nother story. I mean, these guys, they have 2 wins over H2K. Their other win is G2 Esports. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do, and right now they're trying to get the win against Unicorns.
Okay, tower's going to fall. That's the first of the game for Giants. Unicorns had already gotten one, so game fairly even. Still, the first tower plug going the way of the Unicorns of Love.
Here's the trade, though, right now, because Giants are all on the bottom side of the map. Cold will start up the Rift Herald, but the Giant squad knows what's going on. I think they actually try to fight this one. Betsy's already there. Sir Nukeslot and Steelback are roaming up with the Abyssal Voyage. They might just want to look for a team fight.
Yeah, I think Unicorns might be itching to take it as well. Ward going to spot out Betsy as he goes in. He tries to zone with the ball here, and it looks like they're going to nearly finish that Rift Herald. Unicorns backing off, and oh, thank you very much. Nice leash.
DY for leash. That is ours now, say Giants. Even though Neon had teleport on the other side of the map, Unicorns don't feel like they're strong enough right now to take the 5 versus 5 with all of Giants already there, already coordinated in how they were going to attack that river.
That was like, immediately Unicorns just back up. That was like cyberbullying, man.
Not the most brutal case of cyberbullying we've had in the EUL.
No, just intimidation. They just like looked at him funny, and then Unicorns walked away.
How do you look at someone funny through the internet?
You send a mean tweet.
Ah. None of these players really send mean tweets, though.
No, these guys are pretty nice, actually.
They're mellow. They're mellow dudes.
I mean, there's always a bit of banter, right? But you know, like with Cold, he's very serious about it. He talks about you know, the importance of not just winning each of these games, the attitude and stuff. Whenever I have been speaking with Cold, he's always kind of focused on that, like making sure things are positive and things are upbeat, because that's how you get yourself out of a funk.
It definitely is. Right now, though, on the side of Giants, I like how they're playing. They're using this tempo advantage that they got by taking the first turret and the bottom side, rotating Steelback and Joko up. It's like his second support here with that Gragas. Try and knock down another turret. White Knight can, though, use the equalizer to clear away that wave and try to stop this if he wants to.
Okay, gonna do just that. Totro's here as well. They don't want to keep forcing the fights. It looks like Steelback and Joko are just gonna tank the last few tower shots anyways, so Giants get that tower advantage, but once again, Exile on the side lane, on the Yasuo, and he's gonna equalize that.
I mean, you already see the flowchart sort of unfolding here for Giants. Take bot lane turret, take top lane turret, they throw in a Rift Herald there, and all of a sudden they can rotate into mid lane and use that to break the final outer turret of the game. That has to be the play coming in from them once their duo recalls in the top side.
Okay, so Cold and Exile. Now, this is one thing they can add to what they've already gotten, is that Cloud Dragon, a little bit of extra move speed. We hit this 20-minute mark, but very rarely do we see the game just being like this tit for tat over and over again, like consistently matching pressure. The biggest difference has been the fact that Unicorns are trying for all the crazy stuff, and as you mentioned, Giants is like, it's like full corporate mundo, just flowchart after flowchart.
Yeah, we have to sort of bring it back to the tendencies of these teams, because usually, even when Giants have a lead in the early game, and it's very even right now, but they're not the ones to drop the Rift Herald. They're waiting around a little bit more, so it's nice to see them taking the proactive approach here to take yet another turret, but now the challenge is, how do they extend off of that? I talked about Joko. He needs to step up as a leader on this team, start calling the shots, and that shot might be to collapse into the bottom lane, because Exile's been split pushing this entire time.
Yeah. Thought for a second Sir Nukes was going to go for the bot dive. Exile actually waiting around. You can even hear the players on stage. Unicorns, kind of why is this thing maybe happening? Giant step forward, look for Totoro. He's got the black shield on. Point blank, it looks like he's going down anyways. Nice use of the stopwatch tick, but that's only going to buy a little bit of time, my friend. Ruin picks up the kill with the boomerang.
Some say nice use of stopwatch, others say that was a total waste right there from Totoro, but nevertheless, it's still 5 members of Giants pushing in mid lane, while Exile is down bottom.
He's trying to equalize on these towers. He's going to be able to get it, but Giants, they're just 5 members strong here, and I don't know if they want to take a full-on base race, but man, Exile just doing work on these objectives.
They're definitely going to have to base, and they can't go over and start up the Baron because top lane and bottom lane are both in really tough positions from them. I like how Unicorns are playing this, even though individual members keep getting picked off.
Yeah, no matter what, despite the fact that Giants were the ones able to force the fights, able to execute on it a little bit better, Unicorns find a way to get these plays, and let's see if White Knight can get out of harm's way. Yes, he can. Just walks through the lane.
Joko thought the Scuttle Crab was a little more enticing there than the kill onto White Knight, potentially. The rest of Giants had gone ahead and backed away, but you can see just how up and down and all over the place this game has been.
This game looks like, it looks really like there's been huge swings, but then you look at the actual numbers and you're like, oh, that's like by like 1,500 is how much the gold has been swinging. It is only 22 minutes in.
Yeah, this is where if I was casting with Medic, I could make a joke about how that looks like a very unhealthy heartbeat.
Medic would be able to actually tell you if it is. I am not one of the people that could. All right, Cold.
Ruin.
Nice. Gets the stun off. Ruin. Okay. And straight into the last breath. But Ruin flashes the wall. Followed by Exile. Going for the base gates. Exile. He dashes over. Very aggressive play. And he makes the kill.
And he follows him through there, but there's no teleports on Cold or Exile. Unicorns love this. Has to be a 3v5.
All right. Looks like it's going to be 4 members of Giants Gaming inside the Baron pit. Totoro, White Knight trying to stop this True Shot barrage. And the Equalizer comes and tries to force him off. Look at what's going on with Exile. He's taking the tower in the base.
And the Equalizer disengages Giants off of the Baron. That is going to be 1 turret for Unicorns in the bottom side, and now the rest of their team is pushing through the mid lane.
I'm loving the creative play out of Unicorns of Love. Exile decides to not push his luck on this one. He takes the tower, and Unicorns get mid as well. This is where the gold game starts to go in the favor of UOL.
Man, Giants are finally trying to make proactive plays in the mid lane, but the Unicorns are just taking them to it, sending Exile, keeping him in the bottom lane, even when it looks dire for the Unicorns. When members get picked off, when Giants start up the Baron, they stay calm, they stay true, and they get rewarded for it.
And they're playing objective-based gameplay, too. This isn't like the chaos fights, like, we're just going to try and crash up 5v5, because they know that Betsy is going to hit those crazy shockwaves, maybe not right now, but in a couple more items. Seriously, like, I'm loving this play out of the Unicorns.
And I'm liking the build here from Exile too, because recently you've seen a lot of second item GAs or Sterix Gauges on the Yasuo. That is a cowardly build for Yasuo. I like the Infinity Edge.
He's a brave man.
Damage. He's going into a side lane. He's trying to split push against the Gnar, and that's where it gets difficult for Giants, because they want Ruin to have an advantage and to match up against White Knight. But if Exile is always the one going into a side lane, all of a sudden this Gnar pick really doesn't do that much for them.
Yeah, I mean, Exile, it's kind of like a little mission that he's been going on now. He might run face first into Joko and Sir Nukes a lot. Turns tail and runs for just a second. Nice use of the wind wall. However, the barrel will knock him up against the wall. Nowhere for him to go, but over the wall, followed up by Sir Nukes a lot. But the rest of Unicorns coming to join this party. Exile 1v1ing. And he's able to make it happen. The Unicorns keeps going. Ruin, he does get one into the wall, but not nearly enough. Shockwave only going to connect onto Totoro. Cold takes down Ruin. This is a chaotic fight, but Unicorns are coming out ahead. They've only lost Totoro, and they've taken down 3 Giants in the process.
Exile is an absolute beast on the Yasuo here. Oh my god, in the 2v5 situation at the start of that fight, he gets over the wall, he comes back in, turns it around, and still doesn't drop. That was fantastic.
That was actually sick. I was like mouth agape for a second. What is going to happen? And Exile pulls it off.
Well, because at the start I'm like, oh no, he used the wind wall on the first barrel from Gragas that leaves him exposed to the cast. Then he just casually sidesteps it, doesn't get hit, and then Sir Nukes-a-lot tried his best, but Exile used him to go through the wall.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that again. That replay is brought to you by Acer Predator.
There's so many things to look at. That's why I sort of broke down a bit at the start, because, again, it's 3 members of Giants against just the 2 of Unicorns. You just watch Exile through all this. Sidesteps the first one, jumps through the wall, but then doesn't get spit back over by Nukes-a-lot. That is absolutely key. He's able to keep it alive and swag a little bit. Dab on steal back on the end, too.
Yep. Excellently played. Shockwave gets spent only on Totoro. And now that that threat is gone, I mean, at this point it's cleanup duty, so Unicorns just kind of chase him away. I thought they were just playing for the objectives. They're playing for the fights as well. Now, Exile, let's see if he Mission Impossibles his way out of this one. Stops the Varus ultimate with the wind wall, but there's nowhere for him to go. Shut down. So Steelback gets very quick revenge.
Yeah, that is a 675 bonus gold off the bounty that Steelback just picked up too. So while we were just praising Exile a whole bunch, Giants say, you know what? It didn't work out the first time we tried to get Exile, but we're not going to stop there. We go back one more, and now we'll get the massive payoff.
Yeah, no kidding. And it goes to the pocket of Steelback as well. So now Giants feeling a little more swagger in their step with 24 seconds left on Exile's respawn. They're starting up this Baron in full sight and range of the Unicorns of Love. It's going down relatively fast here. Let's see if the Unicorns collapse is going to be enough in a 5v4. Equalizer thrown down. Maybe not the most optimal position. They do get a stun off onto Sir Nukes-a-lot, and White Knight still charbroiling Ruin. Joko very low. He might need to smite a little early for the health, but he doesn't want to do that. It would be very risky as he knocks away Cold just in the nick of time. Giants hit and run, smash and grab, whatever you want to call it. They get the hell out of dodge. Let's see if they can keep making their escape. Joko flashes to avoid the follow-up damage.
Very close right there. Giants get away with murder. I like what I'm seeing, though. I'm feeling a lot more confident about this Giants roster. They are finally taking command. This has to be Joko calling the shots in the mid-game to make those types of plays, and it was his cast, too, that made that Baron go his way.
Yeah. Giants, honestly, the 3 and 8 doesn't necessarily reflect the way this team has been playing. I thought it was such a close affair with Vitality yesterday that they just dropped at the very end. Just unfortunate fights for them. But Giants really executing well despite being behind in the gold game, despite Unicorns finding angles to attack them, to take down these towers right under their noses. Now they've got the Baron buff to work with. Let's see what they can do with it.
Has to be the question. It's always the question with Giants too, because again, it's hard to send Ruin into a side lane against Exile, and even more important that they don't get caught out in their own jungle, because Unicorns are more than happy to start up a fight. No turrets down in this bottom lane to protect Giants.
It's pretty easy. Of course, you don't want to over-push yourself too, because you might find yourself on the wrong end of a shockwave. Meanwhile, up top, so Ruin, he's the one getting the split push on this Gnar. Big old wave of minions. There's no way that this is going to get contested, because all of the Unicorns love were busy in the mid, busy in the bot. And it looks like that's going to mean Giants can start bringing this gold back. And wouldn't you know it, Ender, 28 minutes later, we're right back with an even game.
This is actually just incredible, because I was almost sure that one of these teams would blow up in the early game. Much more crazy playmaking out of Joko and Colt, but instead they both sort of faced off, stared each other down. We only saw a few ganks actually result in a kill at the start. And now Giants have to keep using the Baron buff. They have a minute and a half left on that bonus, and try to crack open an inhibitor, but of course that's going to be very difficult because there's still an outer turret left they have to work their way through.
Starting for it, Joko looking for the flank, not going to find it. Meanwhile, XL gets chunked a little bit, but here comes the Tom Kent. Sir Nukeslot bringing up the rear once again as Joko finds Cold. Barrel comes out. No, the black shield was on him. So he spends that, doesn't get anything out of it. However, there's still a couple of minions. Let's see if Giants can find enough chip damage on this turret and force Unicorns of Love back. It looks like the answer is yes.
Well, Exile, he had to walk all the way back into the fountain, so only now is he going to be returning into this fight. And Unicorns can look for a turn.
Oh, see, Cold, oh, he's got the stun off, but it's only onto the Tom Kent shockwave, pulling into, that could be the turn! A big Gnar from Ruin, and Giants right inside the Unicorns base. Redemption, I don't think so. Neon does find the Gnar, and Unicorns will turn them back. That's low health bars on the Giants side, and no more ultimates to work with. Cold still chasing him down, but can they make the great escape? Looks like the answer is yes. That was, I can't believe that was a 1-for-1.
Just centimeters away from Unicorns, completely turning around the landscape of that fight. One Q landing from Neon, giving him the movement speed he needed. Could have been the difference maker. You see this one more time though, because at the start Giants feel so confident walking into the base that sets up for this equalizer, a 4-man equalizer in towards the stun. And again, it turns around, it looks very good for the rest of Giants, but their carries are low. Ruin gets taken down at the start, while Neon is completely untouched in this fight. He's poking around with Qs, and if just that one can land on Joko, if the next one can land on Sir Nukeslot, that could be an ace for Unicorns.
Yeah, and that could very well be the way this game shifts, and you can see the shockwave damage was pretty real in that fight. Steelback actually danced a little bit around the outside of that one, didn't get nearly as much damage done as you would have wanted him. And that's kind of the tendency we were hoping to not see out of this guy.
Yeah, that's sort of typical Steelback fashion where he doesn't want to risk losing his life, so he doesn't quite get all that same DPS off that you see out of other players, and especially now that he has the Ginsus on top of the Runon's Hurricane and some protection with that Quicksilver Sash. Needs to be up a little bit closer, getting those autos down.
Speaking of closer, I think it was a little too close for Sir Nukeslot. Now White Knight looking to get another barbecue going here in this jungle. White Knight's not quite going down, but the big barrel comes in, and now Unicorn still the stronger team. Late teleport out of Ruin. He cancels it as the fight is already lost. And XL comes up with a double kill.
For the last 5 minutes, Unicorns have just been running around as a 5-man unit and forcing skirmishes inside the jungle. Now, even though they might not have a Baron buff, there's no wave clear left on the side of Giants, and they might actually be able to be the ones that get themselves an inhibitor without that bonus.
Might just be the case. Not the hugest mini wave in the world, but as you said, not really any wave clear to contend with. Joko and Ruin have to give this one up, keeping themselves healthy with the redemption courtesy of Totoro. That will be the inhibitor taken down in the mid. Unicorns, they're not done yet. There was an open one down here from Exile's work earlier. This is going to be a 2-and-hit swing.
That push in the bottom lane when Giants weren't able to take down the Baron comes back to haunt them once again, and with just 2 minutes before that next Baron spawns onto the map, the pressure that the Unicorns of Love will have because of the 2 waves of super minions crashing into the Giants' base is going to be so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, we're starting to get to that point where people are maxing out on a lot of their items and still 1 or 2 slots left and available. Here's the gold graph. As it has grown up a little bit, it has gone very much in favor of the Unicorns, but there was Giants bringing it back for a while. Still, the game balances a bit on a knife's edge. What can Giants do?
Well, here's the thing. Even though there's a lot of red in that last half of the graph, it's still only a 2,000 lead here for the Unicorns of Love. Team fights, and the game is most certainly still winnable. It's still very, very close. Any mistakes made by players will cost them greatly, but it's very hard now because Giants, their carries, Betsy and Steelback don't have flashes, and that is absolutely devastating against the impact of a White Knight equalizer.
Well, this is where Steelback's QSS will certainly come in handy if he ends up needing it. Let's see if his 3-damage Varus, or 3-item Varus will be enough damage as well. Giants actually might need to retreat a little bit to their own base, or Nukeslot's going to take an Abyssal Voyage back to the relative safety of tower as Joko walks it out. Next objective on the horizon, though, Ender, Baron once again. 44 seconds until that respawns.
Right now, Betsy and Exile both are going to be entering this fight so incredibly strong. Betsy now has the Rabadon's Death Gap to give him a whole heck of a lot of AP, while Exile working towards that Bloodthirster. It's going to be very difficult to take him down in these fights unless he makes a mistake, and that's something that is very easy to do on Yasuo. He has to be executing at 110% these engagements.
It all comes back to the way the teams want to play. The mid laners are so crucial for these late game fights, and talked about how Giants tend to have, you know, a little bit of longer games sometimes. And of course, Unicorns of Love have had some rough games as of late, but this is just such an improvement right here. Yes, these two teams are closer to the bottom of the standings, but they're both fighting their damnedest for these playoff positions, and this is the game that you must win.
And you're going to see Joko continuing to step on forward here because he almost has to look for an engagement. The minion waves are going to be very difficult. Thankfully for Giants, they have teleport, but there might just be a fight.
Sir Nukeslot, okay, backing away. That wasn't the target they wanted. Exile, not going to find Joko with the Hurricane, but it was enough to scare them off. Baron's now live on the map. Unicorns immediately turning for it. Do they dare to bait this? With 2 inhibitors down, Giants might have to force a fight and lose more of their base.
I think they can start it up, but that is a fantastic ward from Sir Nukeslot. So many teams miss this one. The rest of the Giants can get into this fight. They know what's going on. The rest of the team is collapsing on over here to try and stop this.
2-man Baron, though. Neon and Totoro, they're keeping the gates this time. It looks like Baron,
They need to go.
going to fall. This is going to be a very fast one if they don't turn in. And Unicorns have actually turned away from it, just keeping the Baron aggroed. It's such a tense dance right now as the Redemption even comes in. And White Knight, he's nearly melted down, but everyone's rooted up. The Baron finally gets smited. It's taken away by Cole, but Ruin looking for the fight. Neon going to delete Joko off the map, and Unicorns of Love showing they are the stronger team fighters. It's not over yet. Double kill for Exile, looking for Ruin. Cold and Neon chasing him down. And it's only Betsy left to defend.
Yeah, Betsy's trying to do his best, but he's got no mana. Can't finish off the kill onto Totoro, and White Knight will just chase him back into oblivion because the rest of the Unicorns, they're going for the end.
All right, ends in flames for Giants and for Betsy. That is going to be lights out. 35 minutes, it was close. Down to the wire in a game that means oh so much for playoffs. At the very end, Unicorns of Love prove they are the stronger team and come up with a huge victory.
And on the back of Exile's Yasuo, the best combination you can ask for as a Unicorns of Love fan. He goes into the side lane, builds up massive leads for his team, and can never be shut down. Even when the odds are stacked against him, he's outplaying the Giants everywhere.
This is why we see so much attention on Exile. You can always joke about how he falls down in the laning phase. He you know, has way too many deaths. It doesn't matter. This guy, when he gets ahead, when he gets rolling, oh boy, he will carry.
It's crazy too, because even though he was the one making all those flashy plays, you look top to bottom on the Unicorns of Love's side, and White Knight had a massive impact in the team fights. Cold and Totoro were the ones playing through Exile to let him build up an advantage in the mid lane and not fall too far behind. And then Neon, the surprise, did significantly the most damage in this game on the Ezreal.
It's a far cry from him getting 1v1 by Steelback earlier on in the game. So really, this Unicorn squad is coming together, and they've been through adversity, not only dropping so many games, having to make a change in the bot lane position. Of course, please get well soon, Samix. Let's take a look at how it all broke down, because yeah, you could definitely ask Medic about that heartbeat. I think I know the direction it went at the end, though.
Yeah, it got a little bit out of control. Got a little bit hyphy at the end, too, with Unicorns taking that fight after the Baron, too. Splitting up, dividing, and conquering onto the rest of Giants. But this composition does not work for Unicorns if Exile doesn't have the standout performance that he did. It was drafted as a counter into the Orianna, as a counter into the split push of Ruin in a side lane, and you just saw him make it work in every possible situation.
But credit to Giants keeping this one close. As I've said numerous times, it's a little bit rough sometimes for seeing this team just not be able to finish the game. And here's one of our replays with Exile really impressively outplaying the Tahm Kench to the end.
So clean from Exile, getting over the wall, somehow surviving and triumph in the end, helping him out restore a little bit of HP while the rest of his team goes in for the fight. Just goes to show that Giants kept trying to put everything on towards Exile, but he could not be shut down.
Yeah, and here was the Baron play. It was crazy how well they actually kept the aggro to split it. And by the time White Knight was in trouble, they'd already had it.
Yeah, and you see Cold using the ultimate there to zone Joko away from the Baron pit. Then Exile and Totoro are able to 2 versus 3 on the bottom side of this fight because that was just how strong, that was just that kind of game there for the Oswo. Great, great stuff out of them to try and get closer to that playoff position.
Only a couple of games back from some of the guys right in front of them. Of course, Splice is a team that Unicorns have already beat once. Remember, tiebreakers are going to start coming into effect very soon.
Now they just got to keep doing it. Make it rinse, repeat, get those wins again, because it's the middle of the pack teams that they have to be able to overcome in order to leap up into the 6th or even higher position in the standings.
Absolutely. Now be sure to get your vote for the player of the game at LoL Esports on Twitter. We've limited the options down just to 3. It's Exile, White Knight, and Cold. We don't see White Knight in that category all too often, but I think he absolutely deserved it.
I mean, player of the game.
He does standout player. I'm gonna say standout player,
but yeah, we all know who really did the carrying.
Whoever Twitter picks, that's who we know. Now we're gonna go ahead and head over to Lo, who's standing by with the Unicorns of Love's jungler.
Thanks, Pyra, and thanks, Cold, for joining me. Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You must be pretty relieved right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, relieved is definitely the word. If we didn't win today, I didn't really have much hopes for reaching playoffs. So this win was like, I tweeted out earlier, this is really do or die time, and this is really it. You know, like if we didn't win today, then bye to the season. So it meant so much.
Yeah, but here the playoff dream keeps alive. But I'm wondering, you had multiple pauses during the game. So how is it for you to have so long pauses in such a in an important game?
I mean, the pauses are whatever. Honestly, for me, it was actually pretty helpful because then I could press tab and just take an overlook and see what is happening on the map and what I should do more and focus more on actually making the correct calls. So I don't know if that was the plan. You know, I didn't make the pauses, but it was pretty good for me.
And you lacked consistency through the split, and even though in this game, so now that the playoff dream is still alive, how will you keep this consistency to make it out of regular season?
I mean, right now everyone can see we are struggling. Like when we play against the top teams, we just get demolished in 20 minutes. And when you leave the stage after those kind of games, it's really like an empty feeling because it was not like a close game where you felt competitive and then you lost because of a bad call or bad play, stuff like this, but we just get like absolutely destroyed, you know? And that just cannot happen really if we want to be a team that can go to playoffs. So even though this win was nice, we have so many things that we need to fix in the next couple of weeks if we want to actually reach playoffs. And that is our goal. And as long as there's like a tiny hope that we can reach playoffs, we will keep trying our hardest for it.
Yeah, that's good to know. Well, congrats on this one, and good luck for the upcoming weeks. Now this time we will take a short break, and we will come back right after with the issue and our analysis.
Swallowed up by the Tahm Kench here. Let's see if he gets the damage out onto Totoro. Grey health pop and not nearly enough Giants. They're turning this one big. Gnar ultimate by Ruin, but first blood goes Totoro's way. There we go, the combo. White Knight, he puts on the equalizer, and Sir Nukeslot is left alone, but meanwhile, Steelback 1v1s. The rest of Unicorns coming to join this party. Exile 1v1ing. And he's able to make it happen. The Unicorns keeps going. Ruin, he does get one into the wall, but not nearly. But it's only onto the Tahm Kench Shockwave, pulling into that could be the turn. Big knock from Ruin, and Giants right inside the Unicorns base. Redemption, I don't think so. Unicorns of Love prove they are the stronger team and come up with a huge victory.
Battles come near.
Last split, we were not necessarily playing to get first in regular season. We were just playing to improve, and the same kind of thing we're doing right now. We were really confident last split when once Babs hit that we would be able to destroy every team. And it's the same kind of thing we have right now. Obviously, there's a bit of different things now that the meta is really different, so we have to learn a lot of new things. But we're still not necessarily playing for the perfect regular season, but we're playing for the perfect players.
Welcome back to Berlin, Germany, where Caps and Fnatic are facing off against H2K. The Danish mid laner, he has been seen as a carry for his team, but we want to highlight how he actually gets ahead and how Fnatic plays around this very important player in the mid lane. It all starts level 1.
Yeah,
That's the key thing.
I think Fnatic is a team that realize how the early game is so important, so they try to snowball early game. And they are really good into that. They are snowballing from the level 1, from the start of the game, always one champion, at least on one lane.
And if we start just looking at the minimap here, level 1 against Misfits from last week, what is important to highlight is that we have 4 Fnatic players in action for this one specifically. 1 member is up here, and then we have 3 guys coming from this side here, and they've been passing from this turret down behind Alfari. And what's going to happen now?
Now Gragas is just going to E over the wall, he's going to wait for the cooldown as the E to go again, and after that he's just going to sandwich Mundo. In the moment Gragas comes from bot lane, Mundo is going to go top, and he's going to find the other 3 members of Fnatic just waiting for him, and that's a secure first one.
And he's just scouting. Alfari likes to stand in this rush level 1. He doesn't see anything on top side, so he doesn't know he's supposed to flash over the wall. Only we can have this vision.
Yeah.
That is now an easy first kill here. We want to go to a second level 1 because it's not the first time they've been doing this. Yesterday against Schalke, once again, we have a great level 1 setup from Fnatic.
Yeah, so far what they're doing is bot lane, Nocturne is getting the lead by Victor. Then Shen is alone, Orianna is going from left side, and Sen is alone on mid lane. What Sen is gonna do, he's gonna sweep all the way through mid lane, all the brush around mid lane, so they know that Misfits didn't, that Schalke didn't put a single ward on mid lane, sorry for that. And he can just go to mid lane without any vision Bane spot, without Bane spot by Schalke.